I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is never punish people for doing what you want. Now, you might be thinking, Orion, why the fuck would anybody punish somebody for doing what they wanted? Well, I'm here to tell you that this unfortunate decision occurs every single day. And today I'm going to explain why people do this and what can be done instead. This is a reality that I encounter every week in my clinical practice. People aren't entirely satisfied with their relationships, and they are attempting to influence their partners to change certain problematic behaviors. They want this person to do more of certain things and or less of certain other things. And in their minds, they kind of have an ideal template with respect to what successful change is supposed to look like. Now, it's hard enough to influence people to even make an effort in the direction of doing what you want, especially if they are not intrinsically motivated to do so. And this effort, when it does occur, is going to feel very risky for the people in question. This is because they are likely ambivalent about the change. A part of them might want to change, and a part of them might not want to change. This means that they might not really want to do the thing, but they might be willing to kind of try for the sake of the relationship. What's more, this might be something that they've never done before or haven't done in a very long time, so they may feel insecure or self-conscious about the attempt. In any case, ambivalence plus inexperience equals emotional risk. And this is why most people, frankly, just won't even make the effort. And those that do, in all likelihood, are going to fall far short with respect to what you had envisioned for the change. And this is precisely where people fuck up. If the other person actually assumes the emotional risk and makes an attempt to move in the direction of your desired change, then no matter how fumbling or disappointing or unsatisfying or imperfect their attempt, never, ever, ever punish them for their effort. If all you do in response to this attempt is point out how far it falls short of your ideal template, then this will likely be perceived as punitive to the individual involved, irrespective of how softly you deliver your constructive criticism. And if you punish someone despite their willingness to assume risk and make an effort, then good fucking luck ever trying to get that person to make an effort again. Like, seriously, you might never get another attempt out of them again. If someone is willing to do something that they've never done before and might not entirely want to do, just because you want them to do it, then you kind of have to expect that their attempt will be somewhat awkward or incompetent or hesitant or unsatisfying. That's to be expected, my dudes. The first attempt might be 5% of what you ultimately imagine them capable of doing. However, if you just focus on how poor and unacceptable and problematic that 5% still is, I guarantee you'll never get to 10%. And how are you ever going to get to 100% if you can't even get to 10%? Focusing on the 95% of what they're expectedly still not doing right is going to feel invalidating and demotivating. Don't do this. Whenever someone makes any kind of effort to move in the direction of where you would like them to go, then you need to reward that behavior, no matter how rough or unacceptable that effort might currently be. If it's moving in the right direction, it needs to be rewarded. This is the power of shaping, guys. Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're hearing, then please consider sending this episode to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. I'm also proud to announce that my book, The Value of Others, is now available for pre-sale on Amazon. I'm also writing original content for my free newsletter every week. If you'd like to sign up, you can do so on my website. Finally, please fill out an inquiry form on my website if you're interested in booking a paid consultation. Links to everything in the description. Okay, let's get back to it. Now, have you ever been to SeaWorld? How do you think the trainers got those dolphins to jump in the air and do like 3 backflips and hit a beach ball through a flaming hoop before diving into a center of a whirlpool, etc.? Like, Do you think they did that on their first try? You think a dolphin just kind of spontaneously did that? You think it was a dolphin's idea to behave that way? And yet, here we are. What those trainers were able to do was shape the dolphin's behavior over time. Shaping is a term from behavioral psychology. It means to reward successive approximations of the target behavior. I'll repeat that. Shaping means to reward successive approximations of the target behavior. In this way, you kind of create a game of hot and cold with respect to your reinforcement contingencies. When people get warmer, that is, when they move in the direction of where you want them to go, you reward them. And when people get colder, that is, when they move not in the direction of where you want them to go, you don't reward them. Notice I didn't say you punish them. You shouldn't do that. You just shouldn't reward them. And through shaping, all kinds of living things can be helped to perform all kinds of wonderful and amazing feats, irrespective of whether they comprehend or can comprehend the ultimate purpose of this process. It's powerful stuff. And all that is required is the willingness to reward successive approximations of the target behavior. Now, this can take months. This can even take years, but it almost always works. And it even works independent of the awareness of both the person doing the rewarding and the person being rewarded. That is, neither party needs to know that this is what they're doing. And in fact, most people shape other people's behavior unconsciously and unintentionally, which is how they end up in dysfunctional interpersonal patterns that they didn't consciously want. So my perspective is that shaping is going to happen anyway. So you might as well become aware of the process and implement it intentionally. And in this way, people can be supported to do all kinds of positive things that A, they might not ever spontaneously do themselves, B, they may not entirely want to do, and C, might be for their own benefit. Like if a person can be shaped to be a better partner for their partner, how is that not mutually beneficial? In the majority of cases, it's a win-win situation. Now, you'll encounter backsliding throughout the shaping process. However, it's essential that this backsliding not be actively punished. Just remove the reward and replace it with a neutral, non-reinforcing response. And when they once again start to move in the direction you want them to go, just reinstate the reinforcement. The idea is to reward moving an inch as opposed to punish just moving an inch. Because let me tell you, punishing people for making an effort is one of the surest ways to fuck people up psychologically. Like the people who are punished for doing what they are supposed to do can become villainous. Not a good idea. It's also incredibly counterproductive with respect to your chosen goals. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you ain't gonna fool me again. So if you want to influence your partner to do what you want them to do, then you're gonna have to be patient. You're gonna have to be kind, and you're gonna have to be generous. And if you can't be those things for whatever reason, you probably shouldn't try to influence their behavior because you're probably just gonna fuck it up and make it harder for everybody. It's very difficult to change a pre-existing habit. In some cases, it's actually a better idea to just break up and start over with someone who is naturally closer to the behavior you have in mind than to try to shape a pre-existing partner in the direction of that goal if that behavior is that important to you. The process is going to take time and energy and resources. But if you don't want to break up, then you have to kind of be available for the long haul and to be willing to help your partner through encouragement and validation and acknowledgement and praise to become who you'd prefer them to be. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your support and thank you for listening. And now, a word about Stellar. If you're interested in pursuing a master's degree or a doctorate, chances are good that you'll have to take the GRE. Now, before I became a psychologist, I was actually one of the world's top GRE test prep instructors. Over 20 years, I developed a unique and practical system for dismantling every aspect of this test, and I helped thousands of students achieve top percentile scores on the exam. Today, students can learn the same system I used to achieve my own perfect score with Stellar GRE, my online GRE self-study program. I personally wrote and designed every aspect of this course. Among other things, it includes a 500-page test prep manual, thousands of practice problems, and several full-length mock exams. Just like my episodes, Stellar is designed to give students the strategies and techniques they need to succeed as clearly and succinctly as possible. And the best part is, Stellar works. My students' average score improvements are higher than my competitors' score guarantees. So create an account and start your free trial today at stellargre.com. Use the code PSYCH for 10% off any membership plan. The link is in the description.